October 30th, 1974, Muhammad Ali lay on the ropes, taking punishing blows from George Foreman, the hardest hitter in boxing history. The crowd gasped. His corner screamed for him to move. But Ali just smiled. He leaned into the ropes and whispered to Foreman, "Is that all you got, George?" That moment wasn't just brave. It was the culmination of a mindset Ali had been building since he was a 12-year-old kid in Louisville who had his bike stolen. The police officer he reported it to asked if he could fight. Young Cassius Clay said no, but he wanted to learn. That officer happened to run a boxing gym. What happened next wasn't just about learning to throw punches. It was about building something most people never develop. Unshakable confidence rooted not in arrogance, but in preparation, self-knowledge, and relentless mental conditioning. Here's what most people get wrong about confidence. They think it's something you're born with, that Ali was just naturally bald, that he woke up one day and decided to proclaim himself the greatest without any foundation. Nothing could be further from the truth. Real confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about never feeling fear or doubt. And it's definitely not about fake it till you make it positive thinking that crumbles the moment you face real adversity. The problem is that we've been sold a distorted version of confidence. Social media shows us highlight reels. Motivational speakers shout platitudes about believing in yourself. But nobody talks about the unglamorous work that builds genuine self-assurance. When you lack true confidence, you second-guess every decision. You avoid challenges because failure feels like it would destroy you. You compare yourself to others constantly and always come up short. You stay quiet when you should speak up. You play small because playing big feels terrifying. This isn't just uncomfortable, it's costly. It keeps you from pursuing opportunities, building relationships, and becoming who you're actually capable of becoming. But here's the truth Ali understood. Confidence isn't a personality trait. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be developed through any of these specific, deliberate practices. 1. Build evidence before belief. Ali didn't just wake up and start calling himself the greatest. Before he won a single professional fight, he'd already logged thousands of hours in the gym. He studied fighters obsessively. He trained when others rested. He ran while others slept. When he finally started proclaiming his greatness, it wasn't delusion. It was a public declaration of private preparation. Here's how you apply this. Stop waiting to feel confident before you act. Instead, act in small ways that build evidence. If you want confidence in public speaking, don't start by imagining yourself on a TED stage. Start by speaking up once in your next meeting, then do it again the next time. Each small act creates evidence. I spoke up and survived. I spoke up and people listened. I spoke up and contributed something valuable. Your brain doesn't respond to affirmations. It responds to evidence you give to it. 2. Reframe adversity as training. J.K. Rowling once shared her experience in her upcoming days. Before Harry Potter became a phenomenon, she was a single mother on welfare, struggling with depression and collecting rejection letters from publishers. She later said that hitting rock bottom became the solid foundation on which she rebuilt her life. The adversity wasn't the end of her story. It was the beginning of her becoming someone who could handle extraordinary success. The practice here is simple but transformative. When something goes wrong, immediately ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Not in some cosmic, everything happens for a reason way, but practically, what skill is this forcing you to develop? What weakness is this exposing that you can now address? Every setback is either a tombstone or a training ground. You decide which. 3. Strategically speak your future into existence. Ali's trash talk is legendary, but it wasn't random. It was psychological warfare, carefully designed to get inside his opponent's heads while reinforcing his own mindset. Before fighting Sonny Liston, Ali showed up at Liston's home at 3 a.m., shouting and causing a scene. He called him the Big Ugly Bear. He predicted the round in which he'd win. This wasn't just bravado, it was strategy. He made Liston furious, which made him sloppy. Ali, on the other hand, started believing his own predictions because he heard himself saying them over and over. There's science behind this. When you articulate a goal clearly and repeatedly, your brain's reticular activating system, the filter that determines what you notice, starts spotting opportunities and resources aligned with that goal. But here's the key. Ali's predictions were rooted in genuine preparation. He didn't just say he was the greatest, he trained like it. Your move, declare your intentions, but do it privately first. Tell yourself what you're going to accomplish. Say it out loud. Write it down. Then, as you build evidence through action, start sharing it selectively with people who will support you. Your declarations aren't about convincing others, they're about programming yourself. 4. Protect your mental diet ferociously. Ali surrounded himself with people who believed in him. His trainer, Angelo Dundee, never doubted him. Even when Ali was taking brutal punishment in fights, his team created an environment where confidence could flourish, but he also did something else. He controlled what went into his mind. He studied his opponents obsessively, but he didn't consume their negativity. He watched films to find weaknesses, not to internalize fear. Compare this to Oprah Winfrey's approach. Despite growing up in poverty and facing abuse, she made a conscious decision about what she would allow into her mental space. She's famous for not reading negative press about herself, not out of fragility, but out of protection. She knew that confidence requires guarding what you consume, your practice. Audit your inputs. What are you reading? Who are you following on social media? What conversations are you having? If something consistently makes you feel small, inadequate, or hopeless, and it's not essential, eliminate it. This isn't about creating an echo chamber. It's about being selective with your limited attention and ensuring that you're feeding confidence, not starving it. 5. Be authentic. Here's what made Ali truly remarkable. He didn't copy anyone. He created his own style of fighting. The Ali Shuffle, the rope-a-dope, the constant movement that frustrated orthodox fighters. He created his own style of talking. Poetic, playful, profound. He wasn't trying to be someone else's version of a confident fighter. He was becoming the most confident version of himself. This is where most people stumble. They see someone confident and try to mimic their mannerisms, their speech patterns, their approach. But borrowed confidence always feels hollow. The most powerful thing you can do: stop asking, how would a confident person handle this? And start asking, how would the most authentic version of me handle this? Your confidence will never feel real if it's a costume you're wearing. It only becomes unshakable when it's an extension of who you actually are. Conclusion. Ali eventually knocked out Foreman in the 8th round exactly as he'd predicted. But the victory wasn't just about that night. It was about years of preparation, mental conditioning, strategic thinking, and unwavering belief in himself. Ali once said, "I am the greatest." I said that even before I knew I was, but the truth is more nuanced. He said it, then he worked to make it true. Then his work gave him permission to say it even louder. Your confidence doesn't need to look like Ali. It doesn't need to be loud or public or performative, but it does need to be real.